Welcome back to the channel. It's time for another Build Your Own palette. This month's Build Your Own palette is going to be a green centered palette. So today for you I have my famous 9-pan of like green palette that I have put together, and I also have a bonus like kind of like, I don't know if it's going to be a highlighter shade, but I thought it might be, and it's actually over there. Let me go grab it. Okay, there it is. So yeah, I also chose a nice jadey glow shade to kind of go with the palette. So that is my Build Your Own palette. Let's go ahead and get into a look, and then I'll kind of talk to you about the colors and why I chose them. And I will be rolling some B-roll of some swatches kind of over it, but it's not going to be its own like entity this time around, guys. I'm a little strapped for time, folks. So let's go ahead and put this look together real quick, and I'll talk to you about some of the shades that I decided to put in the palette. The first shade that I'm dipping into is one of the cult favorite classics from Makeup Geek, and that is Peach Smoothie. Peach Smoothie, I decided to put that one in when I began looking at some of the green palettes that were a huge hit in 2021, namely The Child. So I saw that palette and it went over so well, and I thought this palette also needs kind of one of those warm transitions, like, you know, ABH's Orange Soda would be fine. Makeup Geek now has a rebrand for Peach Smoothie as well, and it really fits in with a nice matte peach tone that I feel like these other green mattes that I have will fit really nicely. So then I'm going to dip into this second shade. Not the second shade, but another shade in the palette, and it's Sydney Grace's Vanguard. And same brush, Refer 16, just dipping in the tip of that, and going to go ahead and, you know what, I'm going to make this a halo eye, since I did go ahead and do some brushes for a halo eye that I picked out for my capsule. And I chose this color when I but you know, like when I kind of paid attention to Glam Shop's eyeshadow palette. I forget what it is. It's their camo palette though, and it had a lot of grungy dark browns that had green undertones. So this is a kind of a darker brown that has a green undertone. Also in this palette, I wanted to choose some really fun shades. I know the last couple of palettes that I have done, Build Your Own palettes, they've been more soft, subtle, wearable, easy, everyday looks. But this particular palette, I wanted to branch out a little bit. I do have a Sydney Grace Duping the Vibes video coming. I just don't have the time that I need to get some of this stuff. Like, it'll either A, get filmed, or B, it'll get edited. But it can't, it's like I can't do both at the same time for some reason. Just on the struggle bus these days, folks. Okay, so like I said, I chose some really fun shades, and one of the shades that I decided to put in there was a shadow from Pastel Roses UK, and it's the shade Starburst. I believe this shade is also featured in my gold palette, so if you don't already have that, check out that video. And it dupes the lime chrome shade, I believe. I thought it would be really pretty to put like a red based with like a green overlay shade in there, so that's what I did for that. Alright, just continuing on and kind of blending over and around on that crease and just slightly above the crease for my halo eye, and then kind of coming out in the tip. So I go on to collect another shade in the palette, and it is Wild Child by Looxi Beauty. I thought that was a really pretty, it's kind of a neutral shade, but it has a green overlay to it, and I'm really kind of digging that these days. I just thought I wanted a couple of shades in here that are actually neutral to the look and touch, but then they have like this green twist to them. So that's why I chose that shadow. The next shade that I'm dipping into is Sydney Grace's Bravo. I think Sydney Grace does a really good job with those grungy greens, so I'm dipping into that shade. Makeup Geek Pointed Crease Brush. Sorry, that was also what I used on the inner portion of this halo eye as well. And just kind of filling in and adding a little bit of depth with green. So going back to my original story, I chose this shade because I thought it's a nice grungy green, but yet it does have a slight grassy tone to it, so it'll be nice for the palette and give off some nice April showers, bring me flowers vibes. Which, by the way, in our upcoming video, Build Your Own Palette will be an April showers palette, so stay tuned for that. Subscribe if you haven't already, and let's keep on going. The next shade in the palette, which is in the center of my 9 pan right here, it is Thrive by Makeup Geek. Makeup Geek does have a green gray shadow, I think, and it's like Envy. No, that's a dark, like, foresty green. They do have kind of a silvery green, but I really wanted Thrive. I haven't used it in a long time, and I actually kind of like the formula of it. It's just like a really nice apple teeny type of green. I never got my hands on one of the Makeup Geek old, you know, shades of, I think it's called Dirty Martini. I never got that shade. So, okay, just checking out here and roughing up these edges with, again, it's still with the Makeup Geek pointed crease brush. Just gonna keep buffing and blending in until I kind of have these seamless, and then bring this up and over, add just a little bit more. Now I'm dipping into both of the colors together just to add a little bit of depth. There we go. These do kind of go patchy. You kind of have to stamp and go, and then do like slight blending. I feel like you really wouldn't want to blend like super heavy with the greens and purples. It seems to be like that. But I am going to back out with my Refer 16 and go towards the tail of my brow bone, just kind of buff in just a little bit up there. I think I talked about Vanguard already, and then for the bottom row, I wanted a really dark green that was almost black, but couldn't find anything in my selection or collection. So I decided to go ahead with Sydney Grace's Grounds, and this is kind of a purple, yeah, it's like a purple mauve-y shade. I think it goes decently okay. It really kind of fits that vibe if you wanted to go with a neutral look. So you have this one and this shade right here, and then you've got this for like lower lash line kind of looks. So I mean, it's like not a total complete green, and I was kind of going for that after modeling it from the Child. I know a lot of people really liked Glam Shop's Camo palette, and originally I was going to kind of model my palette off of the Glam Shop palette, but it's really very selective, and it doesn't seem like there's going to be a lot of looks other than just a really, you know, heavy, hard, grungy green. That's all you're going to get out of it. And I wanted a little bit of versatility. Okay, so the next shade is kind of a duochrome, and it's the shade Rage. It is a beautiful green when you look at it, and then over the top of that, it's kind of a purple shade, so I thought that was really nice. I'm going to go ahead, grab Thrive with a brush here. It's just one of my Shikodos. Grab that brush, and hopefully there's no black on this because I used some black with this brush. But yeah, I'm gonna grab some of that, put it in the center of the lid, and then we will pop a nice duochrome over the top. Ooh, this is a little darker than I thought it would be. You know, that's okay. That is okay. It's been a while since I've used Thrive, I will admit. So it's not surprising that it's a little bit darker than I thought it would be. Okay, over the top, I can't decide. So I also chose for this last shade another duochrome, and it's Hot Spice Cider by Tara Moon's Cosmetics. Again, another one of those, when you look at it, it's kind of a golden olive, and then it has a nice shifty green to it, almost like a teal blue green shift to it. So do I want to use that or not? I don't know. Let's keep on moving. I do have one last shade here in the palette that I put in, and it is JD Glow's Unexpected. So I think I actually want to use this in the center. It's a little bit lighter, and the teal shift on it kind of is going to bring it out of the depths of the grunginess and bring a little bit of lightness to it. So I'm just grabbing it with my ring finger here and popping it all over the center of the lid and just kind of morphing upwards. So yeah, I like that. It kind of took the look down a notch, so it's not so like bright or not so dark and dreary looking. So I'm just laying it over this Thrive shade right here, and then I'm kind of blending it all the way up into the crease. So that is it. That's it for the look. Let me just grab this brush right here, and as you can see, I could probably stand to just feather in and blend some of that dark matte in with the shade. As always, this is in collaboration with Beauty and the Frizz, Cara, and Keep Beauty Real, Kelly Rettenberger. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video and what I chose for the month of March. Build your own palette. And if you like this kind of content around single eyeshadows and makeup brushes, sunscreens, please make sure you subscribe to the channel. Can't wait to see you guys in my next video. Bye.